already told you how it works out. Now, what are we living for? We have to think about it. Is it just for earning money, earning more, putting some money in the bank, or for the insurance? Are we working for that? If money was everything, then we would have been the happiest people here. Because even if you are not working, you can get money in England, no problem. But that's not the last thing. Those people who have less money would be much happier than the people who have money. Sometimes money can give you a headache, you see, and a kind of a intoxication. Then what is it that makes human beings happy? When I walk on the streets, say in West End if I walk, I find the people in West End are not at all happy, while in East End they are happier people, no doubt, because perhaps they know how to live with little less than what is required. And while the West End people want to always have more and more than what they require, perhaps they are more worried how to get more things. East End I have been always visiting, and somehow I have a great faith that here in East End, one day it will come, that lots of seekers will be born in this part. As it is, I feel that human beings do not know one fundamental truth, that you are not determined. You are not designed for your physical, mental, emotional life, but you are designed for spiritual life. The whole design of the human being is created to enjoy your spiritual life and not material life. This is the basic thing human beings don't understand. And that's why if they knew this fundamentality, they would seek their spirit first. And they would not seek other things. Because if that is the thing which is going to give us the complete enrichment and nourishment and also the fulfillment, then why run after other things which do not determine our life? All physical, for example, this building we built, alright? Now, this building we built with stones and, say, mortars and other things, and the electricity is put in, the lights are brought in, and the whole design is made. But why? Because there is a subtle purpose behind this building. If that purpose is not there, this building is useless. It would be just a haunting place. There would be no one visiting this place if there is no spiritual life, if there is no spirit behind it. The purpose, the spirit, is the purpose. The purpose of human life is the spirit and not the purpose that we seek. Now what we do actually with ourselves is that when the purpose is the spirit, all our energy we are wasting for something that is purposeless. Like somebody who gets interested only in counting these pillars. What will you call him? Or who will start counting these nice fittings. What will you call such a man? That this is not the thing you are supposed to do here. What are you supposed to do here is to come for the purpose for which this building is built. So if you understand this fundamental thing, that the purpose of human being is spiritual. The whole universe is created to create human beings for what? To get after the stones and the mortars? It is to become that spirit which is within you. So once we understand our purpose, then we can talk about it. Now you may say that, how do you say that it is the spirit? That is the most important. What is the proof? You see, all the scientists may say that, what is the proof of it? Now with all your science, with all your advancement and all that so-called appearance, and all that human beings are so egoistically boasting about. I have yet to see people who are really happy in life. They are not happy. It's a very simple thing. I mean, you reach a certain conclusion then that what you have done is not the purpose. If that was the purpose, there would have been fulfillment. That shows that that is not the purpose of your coming on this earth. For example, somebody says, all right, I want to have lots of money, lots of power, and lots of enjoyment. But if you go and see the face of that person, it looks like somebody who is worn out, who is absolutely like a dead personality. There's no joy on his face. He is not enjoying himself. See the richest man on the earth. Go and ask him. He'll say, I have a headache, I don't know what to do with myself. All those people like that lady, wife of, say, Kennedy. Just look at her. She's every time, whenever she has an interview, what she says is her hankering, her unfulfilled desires. She's talking about that. You see, Mr. Ford, who was a very great man with lots of money, you go and ask him and he says that he doesn't know what to do with his money. That's all. So one should understand from this that the purpose of the building of human being is not the body, the mind, is not even the emotions. It is something beyond, which you cannot see. By coming here, you do not see the purpose of this building, do you? What you see exactly are these pillars, or these floors, or these roofs. But do you see the purpose of this building here? No. But it's written somewhere, this is the purpose of this building. Once you see the purpose of this building, written somewhere by some authority, it has to be authority, then you understand why you are here and what purpose it is going to serve and how you are going to work it out. I think they want to come in, is it? Are they wanting to come out? Just open the door. Or they want to run away? They are just having a peeping. May God bless. So once we know that the purpose of our existence as human beings is the spirit, the whole thing has been worked out on this principle that you are going to be the spirit. You are created for that. Everything that you do is for the purpose of the spirit and not for anything else. There are so many ways by which you understand that the purpose of your existence, that determines your existence, is spirit. For example, we have had people on this earth who talked of spirit. They said you have to be born again to be the spirit. They have talked not only Christ, not only in India, not only in China, everywhere we have been having people who have been saying that you have to know your spirit. You have to have your self-realization. You are to be born again. Everyone is saying that. It's not only that I'm saying, but every one of them are saying. Now those who were fake people, those who came for a short time, those who tried to put the attention on something else, were found out in no time. For example, Rasputin, he came in, he talked of lots of things, he's lost. Now nobody bothers about Rasputin. Then came, say for example, Hitler, he came. People were enamored by him. Oh, Hitler is great. The whole nation was enamored. All the nations at that time were talking of Hitler, thinking he was very powerful. When he died, people are saying he was a very, very cruel and a brutal person. He was satanic. So they all get these brands. And these characters or this type of people who came on this earth who were anti-spirit, those who did not talk of the spirit, died out. And though you may erect their statues or do anything, but nobody goes and bows to them. Nobody is bothered to know about it. They are finished. Nobody thinks that they were great or they were of any use or they are to be revered. So, a human being doesn't revere all such people. Now you have so many statues in India. You have seen them. So many statues are there. Do you go and prostrate before them? You do not. You do not think that that is the worth of these big statues. Once I went to see a very big castle in India, in Agra, which is a very famous castle. And this castle was occupied by very, very big emperors, Mughal emperors who lived there, who built it. And they had huge big retina of servants and other lords and all that used to come there. And big huge halls, beautifully made with all kinds of mirror work and what you call the embroidered things and also beautifully carved. Every sort of an art was there working, worked out and which had made it look very beautiful and nice. And we all went there to see it as a tourist place. Everybody goes there to see that. And it so happened that we had a guide who was telling us, and it became very late in the night. And it became absolutely dark. And we lost our way a little bit. And there was no light anywhere. It was all dark, completely dark. And we had to find our way. And I felt the whole place is just haunted. There's no one. There is no one who is existing in that place, as if it was a dead place. And the whole place showed me how these people were there living in all lavishness, drinking, indulging into all kinds of vices, and very egoistical and arrogant and talking to each other with such arrogance. I felt all that they were there and all in the dead, and nobody felt that there should be one light in that area. Not even a single light. And somehow we managed to crawl up. And then we saw a little light flickering from outside. So we went up to that light and we saw a little light was coming through a door that was closed. And we opened the door and we thought we knew that we were outside the castle. And that light was on a grave. And we saw that there was a man sitting near the grave. So we asked, whose grave is this? He said, he was a faqir, he was a realized soul. And he was a great faqir. And this has been here much before this castle was built. And every night we put the light. All the time there is light burning on this. And the name of the thing was also, it was so ancient that they did not properly knew the name of that fakir. And I felt the vibrations of that place. It was tremendous vibration. And they said that people just come here and touch this, and their problems are solved. And it's such a beautiful place. It was desolate in a way that it was not so decorated as it was, but in the night it was light. That shows that which is the place which has an eternal value is the purpose of life, and the purpose of life is spirit. And that I could see there, just in a very small little corner outside that castle was that grave of a man who may have been a very small, tiny person, the way the grave was. And here is the light burning. For ages now, nobody knows, but there is the light. There are so many other ways that by which human beings have to realize that it is the spirit that we have to achieve. We are made for the spirit and not for the other things so-called worldly, they say. All the universe and universes were created only for creating a human being who would ultimately know his spirit. They are now going to the Saturn, and then they go to the moon, and then we go to all the places. But what about going to your own spirit? When are you going to go there? Which is your purpose? Is it your purpose to go to the Saturn? What are you going to get out of it? They are spending such a lot of money and so much they are launching and all that. I just laugh at them. What about seeking yourself, which is being told by so many people? These are the people who are truthful, who have shown us the path of truth, and they have told us you have to seek yourself. They were not lying us. They were not telling us false things. But what I find, when their disciples come in, when their, you see the people who are their followers, they come in, what they do is to start a kind of a cult or a kind of a so-called religion which stops the seeking first. The first thing they do is to freeze your seeking completely. I can't understand. For example, Christ has said, seek ye yourself. You have to be born again. He said it off and on and off and on. And I would like to know, which church does that? Same about Indians. In India, this thing, if you read any book which is scripture, they say that you have to seek yourself. You have to get your Atma Sakshatkar, means your self-realization. That's the end of it. But what they do is the so-called Brahmins and so-called people in charge of so-called Hindu religion are teaching nothing but ritualism. Some sort of a nonsense which has no meaning in it. Same about Islam. You can see the fanatics, terrible fanatics coming out. How can religion create fanaticism? I just can't understand at this level of mind. But I do not know how people explain it. You see, for Hindus, their gods are the highest. For Muslims, Muhammad is the last. For Christians, Christ is the only one. I just can't understand how can they say such a nonsensical thing. From where did they get these ideas? Just to fight with each other. They must find out some way. And I think the reason must be that people always unite if you have to hate someone. If you have to love someone, then people never unite. So it's better to say that this is the best. So the rest is all nonsensical. And you take something like the best and hold on to it and just try to propound it that this is the best, this is the best. And that's how you will all unite. But all of them are the best. Which part of your body is not the best? They are all flowers of the same tree. And while we are just plucking them and holding on to them and saying this is the best and that is the best, and the one you have got in your hand is the dead flower. The living force is in the tree of life which is described. Where is the seeking gone? The seeking is lost because such a clamp has come. Now when man has started thinking, he starts thinking, oh God, these people, they talk of God, and look at them how they are. They are so many-minded, they try to own the properties, this, that. However, is the spirit? And so they go against. And they think, oh, this is all nonsense. There cannot be spirit. You see, so a new type of people have started saying, there is no God, there is no spirit, it's all nonsense. These people are just trying to make money out of us. They are parasites, so forget them. Both are equally wrong. There is God, there is spirit within us. And the time has come for us to know the spirit. This is what I have come to tell you here. Of course, some of you have been with me for days together, as Maureen has said, that she has found something. What has she found? Is her spirit. She, like many other young people, have been really of the category of seekers. There are really human beings who are seekers. I mean, they are born like that. They are seekers. They are not seekers of anything else but of spirit. Perhaps they do not know, but they are that category, that they are seekers. Even if they take to drugs or to anything, they do it for the sake of seeking. There are many, many young people in every country. We had one from Algeria, a young fellow who came down here, who got his realization. He went back and told about 500 young people who are very well educated and all that. He told that there is a spirit within us. Because they had denied. All these young people had denied. They said, look at these mullahs. What are they doing? They are teaching us fanaticism. They are teaching us destruction. How can there be God? How can there be Muhammad and all that? It's all nonsense. We don't believe in religion. And they have taken to communism. Some of them have become so violent, and it could have been anything like the National Front sort of nonsense or some sort of a thing like that. And these people, when they heard him saying that there is the spirit, there is the God, and you have to find him, they were amazed, because this boy was an aeronautic engineer, and they were surprised. How could he say such a thing? They turned round and they also found it. That is how all these differences are going to vanish, because spirit is the universal being within us. We become the spirit. It's the question of becoming, not just giving you a sermon, calling you here, all right, come and confess, and then take one bread and finish. It's something that really has to happen within you. Now, as I said, the whole construction has been done with the full understanding that you have to become the spirit. So don't you think that even human beings who are quite confused, when they build something, they never forget the purpose of the building. The whole universe and this earth that produced human beings, the whole creation has been with the purpose of making you know your spirit. Do you mean to say that all is going to fail? That it has not worked nothing within us, it is you who is going to seek, and you are the one who are going to sort of oblige God by seeking Him? Is it that He has not made already the arrangements within you by which you get it yourself? After all, He has made you a human being, isn't it? Or you have made yourself. I mean, you don't see any man making himself a human being out of a monkey. He has made you a human being, and He is going to make you something higher. You cannot put in any effort into it. As Maureen has said, that we understand only physical yoga. I don't know from where this nonsense has come in the West, that yoga means only physical exercises. I mean, I don't know if people in the West are going to join circus or some sort of a cinema show, that they are all the time busy doing all these acrobatic, useless things, thinking that they are going to meet God. This is to be understood, that through physical being, you are not going to meet God. Many people have an idea that if you give some money to someone, you can get God. Many people are like that. There are so many foolish people. Even in England, there was a guru who said that if you give me a Rolls Royce, I'll come from America. And there are such stupid and naive people that they starved themselves and got a Rolls Royce for him. He was already 58, they bought one more for him, and he came down here and they gave him the Rolls Royce. And when people said, what's this nonsense going on? Why should you give him this Rolls Royce to get the spirit? He said, he gives the spirit and we give him just a metal. Now, can you exchange? For example, now you have built this house with all these things. By building all these things, do you create the purpose? First you have to have the purpose. You have to create the whole building and then achieve the purpose. That is the way the pattern of the whole creation is. The first is the spirit. Then the whole body and all that is created. Through your attention, you have to know the spirit. It is that way you are created, and the whole pattern is made inside your being, which is placed in the spinal cord of a human being, which shows how he has evolved. And all that is not here to show you, but these people can give you some charts and things for the new people who are here, and most of you know all about it, which she has told you. But now, the trouble I find with human beings is that it is very difficult to convince them. I mean, they want to be convinced for what? I just don't understand. What do you want to be convinced about? You are not paying any money here. There's no shop to convince them. It's like they think I should convince that this sells better or that sells better. You have to ask for it. That's the vicious circle. They don't want to ask for it. They think I should fall at their feet and say, oh, please take your self-realization. They cannot understand something that is beyond your power to achieve it. So once you know that, then you have to ask, isn't it? Supposing there's a rich man, people may understand a very gross example. Supposing there's a very rich man, and there's a man who is not rich. Now he goes to this very, very rich man, and he wants the rich man to convince the very ordinary man. For what? The other fellow wants the money. Now, what should he convince them? I mean, if you want to have the money, then it is you who has to ask for it, isn't it? Or the person has to convince you, oh, please take the money, I beg of you, please take it, I want to give you money. Do they do like that? It's a very gross way, but you understand. Now the person who is spiritually enjoying does want something that it wants that everybody should enjoy. Because he is not a moneyed man, he is a person with compassion and love. So because of the compassion and love that he has or she has, the enjoyment is not complete unless and until you give it. And that's why such a person wants to share. The difference between a moneyed man and a person who is spiritually very much endowed is this, that one wants to share and give. And without sharing, he's not. It wants to create a way of sharing. And that is the reason why such a person may sound convincing. But actually, it is you who has to ask for it. You have to get it. Now there are so many ways by which one can try to convince. And that conviction is this, that you see with your naked eyes the pulsation of the Kundalini. Some of you who have come very recently may not have seen, but all of you, those who have been with me now, have seen the pulsation of the Kundalini in the triangular bone. They have seen this power, this residual power, pulsating with their own eyes. They have seen the pulsation rising. They have seen the pulsation entering into the fontanelle bone area, and they have seen the baptism acting in the actual, real, living way. That this portion becomes very soft. And then you start getting the cool breeze of the Holy Ghost flowing from your hand. This is what should happen to us. Without that, everything that we have done, all God has created, is all a waste, is useless, it has no meaning. It's foolish, stupid, I feel sometimes, the way people are wasting their time and wasting their energy. Once you get that, once you get to that, then the rest of things works out. Beautiful. Say a place I would give you another example of a prime minister who died in it. And somehow I happened to be with them because my husband was his secretary. So we went with the whole thing. And in India, the custom is to put all the remains in a big pot and they take it around. So, because he was prime minister, they put that in a very nice big jar, or you can say the water carriers, huge big 2 water carriers made of nice metal, and inside was put all the remains of the prime minister. Now, the train had to go from Delhi to Benares to immerse that in the river Ganges. On the way, it was quite dark and it was very, very cold. It was the month of January or February it was. Well, we were passing through that cold weather, and the people were standing on the road. I mean, we should say that along the railway lines, throughout. Imagine, from Delhi to Benares, at least it is at least 600 miles or so. Not a single place was there where there were people were not standing. To see what? He was not there. Nothing. They could only see those vessels. That's all they could see. I mean, there was nothing to be seen, but they were all lined up, and they were all coming and going to those 2 vessels that were there. There was nothing else. His remains were also inside, but they were going to that vessel that they could see, because inside was the purpose of it. Now, when we went to Benares, the thing was all immersed into the river Ganges. The thing was washed with that water and everything was cleansed out. And they took out these 2 big water carriers, these vessels outside. And then I was amazed to see that they were pushed on one side. They were lying somewhere. And there were 2 bulls were standing on top of them. And nobody even noticed where they were lying. Nobody. It had no purpose anymore. It's finished. It's done. Nobody's bothered. Where they are lying, what they are doing, nobody's bothered. On the way, imagine, on the 600 miles was completely covered the whole night. People were standing even with lanterns to see that, just to pay homage to what? But the purpose. There is a spirit within us which understands the spirit of that. Once that is lost, it's nothing, it's zero. Nobody's bothered about it. Nobody even looked at it, and there were bulls standing on top. They were under the bellies of the bulls then. I just smiled. I said, look at this. It has lost its purpose. It has no purpose. Are we leading our life the same? We have to find. Are we leading our life without any purpose? But once the purpose is found out, then the whole universe starts working because you are designed for it. So the whole universe starts working for that design, and then you get the blessings of various types. Every type of blessing. And that is what virtue is. Then you do not become over rich. No, that's not the blessing. But you become as rich as should be very satisfied to the spirit. Then you become a satisfied soul. And the problems are solved. Every sort of problems are solved. But so many Sahaja Yogis feel that Sahaja Yoga is for solving problems also, which are of a very mundane type. Sahaja Yoga is for giving you spiritual life. It's not for solving your problems, but as a result, the problems are solved. As a result, you get all right. Your health improves, of course. You give up all your bad habits and all that happens. I mean, it's a tremendous thing. And all the transformation starts. It just works out that way. Because see, tomorrow this place can be absolutely vacant. Nobody could be here. It's useless. There's no lights, nothing. But then the purpose is supposing of this to have a meeting. Everything goes up, lights go up, everything spread out, everything clean, everything is all. In the same way, once you have your purpose established, everything that is topsy-turvy, in confusion, this way or that way, gets into its proper shapes and you get transformed. Now there are many people like Mori who are here who were all lost people, I should say really lost. And they found their way. But to them also, they must understand that the spirit is the most important. Not the other things that all our problems should be solved. If you are with the spirit, you see people start, so many people get jobs. They get money. They get lots of success in many things. They get married. They get children. They have blessing, this, that. But still they don't understand. This is happening because you have become one with the divine. The divine is giving you a blessing. Still they do not understand that. That is the thing. Immediately, if supposing something goes wrong with someone or something, look, this Sahaja Yoga, still Sahaja Yoga, it has gone wrong. Because after some time, your testing starts. The spirit starts testing you. It gives you certain temptations. You have seen even Christ had to go through, who was spirit himself. He had to go through the temptations of the Satan. So the temptations coming to see how far he is. Then people start saying, look at this is going wrong with Sahaja, this is going wrong with Sahaja. According to some of the even Sahaja Yogis, who are just halfway baked, I would say they are not yet fully matured, they want a ship to be built beautifully, then to be launched, but the sea has to be absolutely smooth, you see. Absolutely smooth. And the ship should just go balancing. It should not face the sea. Then how do you prove it is seaworthy? The seaworthy ship has to have the facing power of all kinds of storms. Here you are not to see the storms, you have to see the quality of the ship it is. We have to find out what is the quality of the ship that is being now evolved, transformed. Is it facing? And that's where people fail in Sahaja Yoga also. Of course, it is being the real thing, it has to be very few. Today we went to the market to buy some things, and even real woolen clothes were very few. So I thought something is happening even in Sahaja Yoga the same way. It being too real, it starts with few people. I started with, I think, 6 people only. One of them was Maureen for 4 years. Then I started working out. Now you have seen in Eastern how many people have come. But these 1 or 2, whatever it is the number, is going to start. And once it starts, because it's a living thing, if they work it out with that understanding that you are for your spirit, they will start working it out within themselves. Then they would like to share it with others. Once they start sharing it, it starts expanding and increasing and improving, because that is the purpose. What is the purpose of this candle? Is to get enlightened. Once it is enlightened, then what does it do? Nothing. It does the purpose. It gives you the light, finished. Then the purpose is filled and there's no more seeking, it just gives the light. And that is what it is. But the trouble is human beings have really, some of them have really spoiled their being quite a bit within themselves through the tensions of life, through the whole ideas about life, through their own indulgences, I would say, through ignorance, following wrong type of people, fake people, going to wrong sorts of life. There are problems with it. Doesn't matter. When the light is there, you see the problems very clearly, and you know also how to cure them and clear them. But remember, you have to be the spirit. That's the main part of it. So gradually, the spirit itself shows through your collective happening that you become collectively conscious. The thing starts flowing in you, and you start feeling on your fingers where are the problems, and these are decoded nicely in Sahaja Yoga, and you know that if this is catching, then that means you have ego. Now, if you have ego, what to do, how to get rid of it, what to say is, we know, how to work it out. Now, ego is something. Normally, if you say to somebody you have ego, he'll give you another punch to prove that he has a big one. But the Sahaja Yogis are different. They'll tell you, they come and tell me, Mother, please take away this colossal ego. It's trouble. Because you start seeing it as a separate thing. You do not think that you are ego. You say, oh, this terrible thing, please take away. Oh, this I don't want. So this Mr. Ego vanishes. But in the beginning, be careful. Don't tell anybody you have ego. We have other names. You see code names for that. Otherwise, you will be punched, you say. Very nicely, you will have a black eye. It's to be careful. Gradually, the same people, when they improve, they start finding out about others. And there are ways. This is nice with the Sanskrit. This is a very, very good way that the Sanskrit words are there, so that nobody knows what's the meaning of this. And you cure the people without they knowing about it. It just works out. See, like children, if you have to give them castor oil, you put a coat on that, and you can manage it. It's like that. So it works out. It changes you completely, it transforms. It has to transform. After all, it's such a dynamic thing. Now, there's no end to it. I would say that just now, only thing you should ask for is realization. Get it, work it out, but just don't slip. It's not like going to Hound Stitch, shopping something, and then throwing it somewhere and getting another thing. It's not a fashion or anything. It's a steady stream of spiritual life which you should have. Without that, nothing is important. Everything is a waste. It's a wasteland. And if you have to understand the meaning of your being there, you have to get your self-realization. You have to get it. First, the people who are ardently seeking will get it, not the people who are not seeking. Those who are seeking other things might get, some people who are sick might get well, finished. Some people who are seeking, say, mental, this thing will be alright, finished. But those who are seeking the Spirit will get permanently everything else, plus the blessings of the Spirit, which is your purpose of life. Thank you very much. May God bless you. Can I have some? So now, those who are new for the first time, please raise your hands. No, not. You have been to me before. Those ones. 1, 2. You have been? Yes, 3. Now, and we have all of them are realized souls. Can you imagine? It's a good thing. It's a good thing. Yetega, just put your hands like this. Just like this. Put your both the feet straight on the Mother Earth. Just like that. You close your eyes, please. Please close your eyes. All of you close your eyes.